Hey guys, it's Michelle with Women Who Wow, the online alliance for seriously driven women entrepreneurs. And today I'm here to talk with you about the 10 marketing and sales strategies that are working so well for women entrepreneurs right now. And I'm going to wait for a couple of people to get on here, and then I'm going to, hey Alice, I'm going to share this to my personal page as soon as I can see it, which I never really actually can do. Hey Brenda, excited to have you guys here. While I am getting myself together and going to share this to my personal page, if you guys know people who should see this, then definitely share it with your people as well. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share this to my personal page, and then we'll have people hop on as they get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. All right. All right. So I am dressing for fall in hopes of ushering it in a little bit quicker than it is being ushered in currently. I have no idea if it's going to work. It's quite muggy here, but I have aligned my wardrobe, my intentions, and my thermostat in my house to make things colder. I'm hoping maybe it'll move the needle a little bit. So today I'm doing something I've never done, which is a really detailed public training. And, honestly, these are trainings that I sell, and I'm going to be selling this one as well. Our Women Who Wow members will obviously get it for free, as well as the strategy sheets and all this other stuff that will come with this. But I am going to sell it, and the strategy sheets and kind of the how-to of this as well. But I'm doing a detailed training, 90 minutes give or take, because I am frankly really sick of all the complicated, like glitter covered, like piles of poo that's being marketed and sold to women entrepreneurs. I want to demystify and simplify financial and lifestyle success for driven women. For me, it's not just about like having a bunch of money, but also having the time to do what you want with your life, right? I'm not interested in money if it has to cost me time with my husband or, with my family, with my kids, etc. And so I just want to demystify it, because I know that a lot of women entrepreneurs are really struggling with what they need to do, what the secret is, what the key is to making the money that they want to make, doing what they love to do, and much more, doing what they are absolutely brilliant at doing. And if you are amazing at something, it should be that you should support it should be able to support you and your family if you have them. Sometimes us are driven women. Hey Michelle, I haven't seen you in forever. Michelle Forbes. Hi Michelle. Hey Tammy. Glad to have you guys on. The truth is, sometimes as driven women, our drive can drive us nuts, right? It's not just that our drive drives other people nuts. It can drive us nuts. It can be maddening. Our drive, our pursuit can sometimes have us tripping over piles of cash in our business as we look towards the next big thing. When we're standing on a gold mine, really, that we're just inches from cashing in on, but we're always like looking for what we should be doing, what we could be doing, right? Just who we are. We're leaders, we're doers. We're not just dreamers, right? We're doers. And so sometimes in our best efforts to create what we say that we want and what we're committed to, we can get stuck into these complicated things that are just actually taking us away from what we really want. And not only does it not produce the profit that we want, but it also eats away our time, and it starts to feel frazzled and chaotic. And I'm doing it because business success is simple, it's habitual, it does not have to be harried. If it had to be harried, I would not be a success story. This does not negate the hustle, by the way. Like, I'm all about the hustle in business. I'm all about effort. But I don't want to struggle uphill both ways in the snow in order to create what I really want. I do want a business that allows me to be the wife that I want to be, the friend, the sister, the daughter, the granddaughter, right? Like, I want a business that supports me in all efforts, but I also want a business that supports me financially, right? I happen to have the gift of not having married money. I didn't have a backup plan. I did have to work. I got to work, right? Like I'm glad. I tell people that actually. I told my husband for the first time, like, he's a public school teacher in Chesapeake, Virginia. And, his limits on his salary actually gave me the freedom to become what I wanted to be. If I had sort of just, held back and been financially supported in ways that some women are, I would not have discovered this drive and this passion for being an entrepreneur. So it's not about not hustling. I hustle all the time. I just don't want to, and I don't want to, and I refuse to get lost in the chaos and overwhelm. And so simplicity, it guides everything that I do in my business. So if you know women entrepreneurs who should be watching this right now, if you want them to get it for free, then share on your pages, invite people to join us, because we're getting ready to start busting myths. And also, I just want to share simple strategies that you can do for free, right? And some of them are small tweaks that will make a big difference in your bottom line. All right, so these strategies, 10 super simple strategies. One, I'm embarrassed to share with you. It's so simple. But there are things you can do for free to build not only your income, and that is important, right? Financial empowerment is super important, especially for women. But it won't just build your income, but it will also build your impact and your influence. And that is so critically important, I think, for most of us, for the women that I work with. So, before we get into that, I want to give you a 30-second overview for Women Who Wow. I know people are here who aren't members of Women Who Wow and haven't heard of us maybe, but we are the premier online community for seriously driven women entrepreneurs. We've got members in all 50 states and 8 countries, and WOW was created to give you the support, strategy, accountability, and encouragement that you need to grow your business your way. And I wanted to bring all that together under one roof with a sisterhood, a fraternity of like-minded women entrepreneurs. And this is something you don't find very often. I know this because I actually tried to find a group like Women Who Wow before I started Women Who Wow, right? So I tried to find it. I didn't find it. So I created Women Who Wow to be part sisterhood, part business school, part accountability group. And if that sounds good, you can message me at m.me/Women Who Wow about joining. And we have some incredible bonuses now for joining. So let's get on with free strategy number 1, right? This is the Arnold Schwarzenegger strategy. These are listed in no particular order. They are not listed in order of importance and or potential, right? They're just listed. These are 10 things that I know are super simple. People are not doing them, and they are leaving piles of cash as well as peace on the table. Just peace for, being able to do what works and ignore all the rest. And so these things work. Strategy number 1, the Arnold Schwarzenegger strategy. This works every time, but only when you use it consistently. It creates celebrity and demand for your brand, unlike anything else. Now, this was named obviously after Arnold Schwarzenegger, who always carried himself as a famous success story, like everywhere he went. He did this when he was a nobody. I just want to point that out. My coach actually interviewed him for a story for like a small print Phoenix publication like forever ago, right? And it's this, you couldn't even really pronounce his name. You didn't know who he was. Like, oh, hey, there's bodybuilders like in town. Can you interview him? And so my coach went to interview him, and this guy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, walked around, and everywhere he went, he kind of embarrassed my coach because he's like, do you want my autograph? Do you want my autograph? Well, like no one knew who he was, right? Amber, I'm so glad that you joined me. No one knew who this guy was. And so Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, do you want my autograph? Do you want my autograph? And some people were actually like, yeah, I guess, right? And so, but the strategy really is how you show up, right? The strategy really is how you show up. And a lot of times we are showing up as like grovelers, right? We're showing up as groupies instead of like somebody who should be taken main stage. And this is very, very important. As women, we are realists a lot of times, right? And so we see jobs, if you're in that world, which none of us are, but we hear talk of people who don't apply for jobs because they don't meet one of like the 415 qualifications. It's because we see things in reality. This is a really good thing, but it can work against us when we have a mindset of feeling like we got to earn our way in, or we got to do our time, right? We got to put in our time. We have no moral or ethical obligation to climb the ladder of business success. We have no obligation to do that. And so here's how the Arnold Schwarzenegger strategy can work for us. Number 1, know who you want to be. All of the people that I work with want to be leaders. That is how they see themselves. It's how you see yourself, probably, if you're here, right? They don't want to just be a part of the mediocre masses. They want to lead. That's what they want to do. And so you can absolutely do this, but you've got to know who you want to be. You want to know the role that you want to play in the market that you want to serve. Right? You got to know the role that you want to be. So don't serve as just like a Google for a market if you really want to be a thought leader. A Google just kind of takes a bunch of people's thoughts and puts it out there, makes it easy to find. A thought leader makes their own thoughts known. You got to know who you want to be. You want to show up as that person. I'll never forget, I was at this big conference, not terribly long ago, actually, but I was at this big conference, and there was a big name woman, entrepreneurial leader there, who would probably have no idea who I am. She might have heard of Women Who Wow, but Michelle Pippin, she'd have no idea. And I was talking to someone in the Starbucks line, right? And he's like, oh, I've got this, so-and-so is here. When he heard what I did, he's like, oh, so-and-so is here. And I said, awesome. Tell her Michelle from Women Who Wow is here, and she wants to get up with me, then, she can message me on the site, right? And so, she'd have no probably reason or cause to find out I was there, but I presented myself as a peer, not like, oh my God, I'd love to get her autograph. Do you think you could arrange that? No, tell her Michelle Pippin's here. If she wants to get with me, she can contact me, right? It's showing up as the person that you want to be. There should be no groveling, no proving yourself, no waiting to be appointed or invited. This is why there are so few women on board of directors. There's so few women in top leadership roles. We're waiting to be appointed and invited. Listen, there's no earning your way in, especially in the entrepreneur realm, right? Just show up not as a peer, not as a groupie, or show up as a peer, not as a groupie. Show up as the leader that you want to be, as a leader that you know who you are. People will largely believe who you show up as. Right? People will largely believe who you show up as. We will often champion, right? We will parade in the streets for someone who shows up as a different sex or different race than they are, and then we question whether we can show up as the leader that we know that we are, right? That's not a political statement. I'm not saying it's bad to champion those people. I'm saying let's put it to work in our own life, right? Let's put it to work. Let's show up as the leader that we are. We want to make sure that we are just stepping into that role. At another conference, if anybody knows Frank Kern, give me some love hearts. If you know Frank Kern, he's kind of a brilliant strategist and marketer. And he and I learned from the same way brilliant strategist and marketer. But he has no idea who I am, right? And so he was speaking at this huge conference, and in the breakout session, there were thousands of people in the breakout session, right? And so I walked up, past security, walked up, shook his hand, thanks so much for being here. We are so glad that you could make it. If you need anything, I'll be sitting right over there, right? And I introduced myself. You know his mother? Don't tell him this story. So, but anyway, I walk up there as the leader that I know that I am, and there's nobody, the security actually came and greeted me, and I was like, oh no, I'm just introducing myself. I totally act like I belonged, and they believe me, right? So anyway, the key is figure out, maybe ask yourself, if you journal, where are you earning your way in when you could just show up, right? Where and how are you showing up as a groupie when you deserve to be showing up as a peer? Where are you showing up as a follower when you know you should be showing up on that main stage? And what will you do instead, right? What will you do instead, and starting when? A lot of times we have to kind of hold ourselves accountable. We have to make a plan. This kind of strategy in my own head, it didn't start out that way. I was very deliberate with it. I was like, if I'm going to go to this event, and the truth is who I'm really interested are the people on stage at this event, I'm going to go and act like I was invited, appointed, and part of that crowd, that crew, right? And so I made a deliberate attempt, and then it became habitual. And so when you are looking at where you might be showing up as a peer, where you might be showing up as a groupie, where you're not just owning who you are in an industry and who you should be known as, then you want to set a time frame, right? Not a time frame like 2 weeks, but like when I go here, I'm going to act like, I'm going to show up as the leader that I know that I am. All right, moving on to number 2, and I'm probably going to lose count because I realize I don't have numbers here, but I want to talk about the passive to profitable social media strategy that can make you a lot more money than you're making right now. You're going to hate me for pointing it out to you, and you might even think it's excessive or why you can't do it or whatever, but it aligns with why you're on social media to begin with. It is incredibly profitable, and if you're not doing this, and most people are not, money is literally flying out the window of your business. And if you don't care about that, then I want you to consider that when you're on social media and you're sharing and you're educating and you're encouraging people and you're not doing this, then what's happening is you're not serving the people who are looking at you as the leader, right? You're not serving them. You're giving them like a little teeny bit, enough to know that they need more and want more, but you're not telling them how to get more. And what happens is they're going elsewhere, and they're probably not being well served by whoever else is serving them. So you're literally encouraging them but not equipping them. So here's the social media strategy, which takes your passive showing up on social media, and actually it's passive only in result. It takes some effort to show up on social media as consistently as I see you guys showing up on social media. It takes some real effort. And so if you want that effort to not be just a passive sort of activity stream, and you want it to be a profitable income stream, you have got to you've got to ask people to buy from you, right? You've got to give them a way to buy something. There's no need to have a fancy sales page or a funnel or even a website. I know people personally who make over $1 million a year and they do not have a website. They have links to buy, like right in their little, in their Facebook post. Right? And so nothing should stop you from selling when you're on social media. Just tell people what they can buy, where they can find it, and where to send the money. So as an example, I have a 2-day immersion event, Women Who Wow Live in Nashville, Tennessee, coming up. And if you want to be there, and this is before October 19th and 20th of 2018 when you're watching this, send $197 to paypal.me/Women Who Wow. It's as simple as that. I don't know what the $197 is for, and if you insist on knowing more, you can message me for the official sales page, right? But the truth is, I don't need a sales page. I could just as easily send PayPal me buttons. I can let people, I see people putting in Infusionsoft buttons right in a social media post. How easy is that, right? There's 2 parts to this. There's a mindset key, which is to remind yourself that selling is what gives you permission to roll your sleeves up and help the people that you told me that you want to help, right? And then the second part of that mindset key is you got to know what you're selling, right? You got to know what you're selling. If you're not directing people for where they can go to get more access to you or to access to the products or whatever that they need, you're not serving them. At least tell people where they can get more information. The how strategy is simply attach a call to action to each of your blog posts on Facebook, right? Each of your longer posts on Facebook. I am not suggesting that you go on social media and just do a call to action, right? Pages that are buy from me, buy from me, buy from me, without adding any value are a dime a dozen, and they aren't very profitable. But if you are, as I know many of you guys are, if you are taking the time and the effort to put your heart and soul onto the pages of Facebook or Instagram or whatever, for God's sakes, at least sell something. Let people know where they can find more, right? This is something that will not only help you help more people, but it'll transform the way you show up online. It'll make you more purposeful. And because I know, thank you for the love hearts, because I know that you are women of integrity, I know that when you have committed to selling every day, it's going to up your commitment to serve every day, right? You're going to give better blog posts because you're going to want people to be well served, whether they buy from you or not. So we've got the mindset key, we've got the how for that, and then the how often is every day. I know I'm going to lose some people on that one. That's okay. But the person who sells every day is going to always win the business game, right? This isn't about competition. This is about getting into a natural rhythm of offering to serve people. How often? I do it every day. I encourage you to do it every single day. I want to move on to the mean girl reframe before we lose too many people, right? The mean girl reframe. This is what will allow you to see the ways, or what I encourage you to do is to use this to start looking for ways that people are trying to say yes to you. They're trying to enter your club, right? And you're probably ignoring them. Like, it makes you look like a mean girl. I love that movie, Mean Girls, by the way. It's a little cult classic, I guess. But when you are doing what I'm getting ready to describe, you're literally like, people are saying yes to you. They're like going in for a high five and you're like walking past them, super mean girl style, right? So here are the ways, you know, that your prospects might be saying yes to you. They're saying, let me in. I want to hear more. I want to be part of that conversation, and you're ignoring them. You don't want to make them come the entire way, right? You don't want to have somebody who's connecting with you on social media or reading your blog like have to walk the journey to the bank with you all the way alone, right? So when they like a post or they comment on it, invite them into the conversation. That's a proverbial high five. Don't walk past them, right? Invite them in, get to know them, welcome them in. Amber is here. Amber, and I don't know how to say your name. I apologize. It's Amber Ehrlich, right? Amber and I vaguely know each other. Why? She was tagged in on one of my posts by one of our Women Who Wow members, and I reached out to her. I know she does, I think it's some sort of organizing, like your tidy bungalow, I think, if I'm not wrong. Amber, if you're still here, tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I know that because I am engaging with people who are engaging with me, right? I'm not ignoring people who come in for the proverbial high five. That's just mean. And so the key here is do not get hung up. Thank you. I'm so glad, Lindsay. Oh, good. Ehrlich. Okay, perfect. Don't get hung up in your numbers, right? The numbers, the engagements, the impressions. Forget that. Look past all that noise and look into the faces of the people who are creating those impressions and those numbers and those likes and those whatevers. Look past the numbers and see the faces. Speak to them directly. Invite them into a public conversation. Invite them in to introduce themselves. Amber Ehrlich says she declutters, organizes, creates joyful spaces, the Tidy Bungalow. I love the name, the Tidy Bungalow. I also love that you said recently on Facebook, I believe, because that's where I hang out mostly. But Amber said that she goes where most organizers don't, which is like we're into the high emotion spaces, right? Which I like that. Okay, so everyone says that Facebook is like a party. Do you guys remember that when social media gurus would say like Twitter is this and LinkedIn is this and Facebook is this and act accordingly, right? And so everyone says Facebook is like a party, but when people walk in the room by liking or commenting or sharing your posts, we shun them and ignore them and we're like, oh, you're not part of us yet. No. Right? That's weird. It's weird and it's rude and it's mean girl stuff. So just talk to them. Don't be cliquish on social media. So here's some thoughts to consider. How are your people tentatively trying to enter your world and enter the conversation? Maybe they're joining your free Facebook group and you're ignoring them because it's a free Facebook group, right? Maybe they're commenting, liking, and sharing and you're ignoring them because you're not sure what to say. Just introduce yourself. Thank them. Right? Thank them, engage, ask about them, look them in the virtual eye, get to know the people that you mean to serve, right? All right, I'm going to move on to the next strategy, which I think is the Woodstock and hippie strategy that I guarantee you think you're doing, but you're probably not. Woodstock was originally marketed as a music thing, right? A music thing. But it became what it was because it became about way more than the music. People think that they have made their business about more than what they sell, but they fall way short. I want to show you how, right? So a lot of people try to do cause marketing, like for every whatever I sell, I donate 10% of the profits to blankety blank blank, right? And so this is something that we are We see all the time, right? Or people will maybe put in their, in their posts, they'll make their business about a cause, and they support things, right? They support things, they support causes. But if you really want to be the Woodstock of your industry, the Disneyland of your industry, then you're not going to champion or support a cause. You're going to champion something. And if you really want to do it, you're going to champion people. Right? If you really want to take this strategy, the Woodstock strategy, the hippie strategy, to a whole new level, champion people. Because here's the deal. Causes can be fickle. The details of causes ebb and flow. The champions of causes ebb and flow. And the urgency of causes ebb and flow. But championing people above products, above causes, will skyrocket your reach. Right? WOW champions the seriously driven woman entrepreneur, right? We champion the crazy ones, the ones who are often too much. We champion the ones who might be considered too masculine, too driven, too whatever, too like everybody else, right? And so that's who we champion. The women leaders who are often standing alone, they don't need somebody to stand with them, but they appreciate a sisterhood of women who just get it. Do you know who you should be championing? Right? You want to champion your ideal tribe, right? You want to champion that person, not a cause, not a thing. You want to champion people. Here's an action prompt for you. And if you really want to do this, first of all, it will light you up, right? Doing this will light you up. It'll energize you, and it'll energize your people. It'll energize your Facebook page or wherever you're showing up, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. But here's what you should do if you want to really see the quick power of the Woodstock and hippie strategy. Write a post that champions your people, that calls out to them. And I wish I could, I'm going to see, here, I think I can do it right here. I'm going to try to put this in the comments. I did this a while back, and it was essentially, let me see if I can put this in the comments right here. Yes, okay. So I wrote a post months ago. Women Who Wow is for the crazy ones, right? That was the title of the post. But what it really did was it called out to, it championed that woman entrepreneur that didn't really quite fit anywhere else. And so it called out to them. And I invite you to read what I wrote there. I don't think there's a sales message in there, but read that and then write your own. It will energize you. It'll light you up, and it'll energize your engagement with those that that you want to lead, right? So why would you do this? Because you want to roll out the red carpet for the ideal people, the people that you serve better than anyone else. And when you do, you want to wave your flag, you want to welcome them in, right? When people see that post and like, that's me, I'm in, like virtual fist pump, then you want to, again, do the other strategy, the mean girl reframe, and engage with them. Let them know that you're happy you're there. All right, moving on to the next strategy. This is the one I was embarrassed to tell you about. I am embarrassed to say something as simple as this, but I see a lot of people doing it. I have named this my free EPSC template for maximum profit on every social media post. It's super specific, almost silly sounding, but it works. And I've been testing it. And when I say it, you'll get it, like you'll see that it works. Here is the template to get a lot of traction on social media. First, put emojis in there, right? Put emojis in there. I told you it's embarrassing, right? But it does get more attention. It gets more traction. You'll see people using this in the email world as well. They'll put emojis in the subject line of the email. And so, but when you're on social media, use emojis, right? The first thing you want to do is use emojis. Second thing is go directly into a personal story, right? Go into a personal story so that, people can relate to you, so that they can, get to know you a little bit better. Personal stories engage. I missed out on this for so long in my business. I was kind of like the just give me the facts ma'am approach. I left out the personal stories, and so I made decent money, but I didn't really have a tribe. I didn't really have this there wasn't really a demand for my voice, because really I was kind of giving strategies you could find someplace else. And so when you are telling a personal story, then people start to engage. It kind of hooks them in. So the E is for emojis, the P is for personal story, this S is for strategy. You don't want to be all personal story. That can seem a bit narcissistic, maybe. But you want to give something actionable. You want to give something people can do, right? If I showed up and just talked about me, one, there's not that much to say about me. I'm kind of a what you see is what you get kind of girl. There's nothing much to reveal. But the emoji, the personal story, followed by something actionable, which I call strategy, tips, something they can take away and do. And then the C is for the call to action. That is a winning template for maximizing not only engagement, but profit in social media. I want to move on to the secret pivot strategy. This kind of ties into the small pond strategy, so I'm going to cover them both. But the secret pivot strategy is for people who you have clients, but maybe like they're the wrong clients, or they're not exactly right. They're paying the bills. You're not going to like throw them out on their head because they're paying the bills, but you really want a different kind of client coming in. And so this secret pivot strategy is something you can do without losing any income, even if you're like a hair's breadth away from really saying, screw it, I don't even care about the money, like these people have got to go. So here's what you can do. When you know what you want to call in, right? You want to know, when you know the tribe that you really want to serve, then you can write for industry specific or niche specific outlets, or be interviewed on podcasts, get on stages, etc. One, it's a lot easier to get on those industry specific, niche specific stages or platforms, be they digital or real. You can customize something you've already written or produced, a hit list, whatever, a top 10 list, and you want to make it for those ideal clients. Another pivot strategy is one we talked about before, which is, calling them out, and what did I call that? The Woodstock strategy. That's another, you can call out to them. But if you didn't want to offend the people who are currently paying your bills, you can go to these industry specific places and write for them. You can actually take something you've already written and make it apply specifically to a specific niche. So here's an action prompt, like what associations or memberships, don't just think nationally, think locally, statewide, regionally, whatever. That will come into play in the small pond strategy. But what associations or memberships are your people a part of? How can you show up there as an expert, right? Like, how can you do that? This leads directly into the small pond strategy, which will get a little bit more into the how-to. So I kind of wanted to combine those. So this is literally the biggest opportunity I see people not using anymore. And the reason I think is because we have this like national stage of social media, and we have access to like national leaders like never before. And so we kind of skip over the small pond strategy, and that's a big mistake, right? So instead, like what we're doing is we're going national, we're going general, we're trying to be like the big fish in the big pond. We're trying to get our numbers up to impress whoever, our Facebook followers, our views. And here's the thing, when you do the small pond strategy instead, not only will you get those numbers up, you'll become nationally known, all of that, but you also make a bunch of money in the process. And this is really, I'm sorry, I lost my notes. This is by going directly to the smaller ponds that are holding your ideal people. So you see how all of these, they're simple strategies. They also compound. It's like compounding interest, right? I mean, it just builds on each other. So when you've called out to the people that you really want to serve, and you've taken that small pivot, and then you go into the small ponds, you are able to get attention. You're able to have influence that would be very difficult for you to get in the big pond, right? Now, as you get a lot of different ponds talking about you, listening to you, making you their preferred voice, then what happens is you go national with it, right? And so multiple small ponds make you a big and really profitable fish. in a big pond. It does not delay your profit, which I love, right? I'm married to a public school teacher. I couldn't afford to like wait until I became known in order to make money or start charging for my work. I had to start right away. I had to become a fish in a small pond and a big fish in a small pond. And then what happens is those small ponds often get together in a national pond and you get on that stage. But I'm going to give you a really specific strategy. And if you say like, I don't write or I don't blog or whatever, you can do this with audio, you can do it with a podcast, you can do it with a video training, whatever, right? So I have one article that has been published in about 24 different small ponds, right? 24 different small ponds. And frankly, I'm going to be repurposing it and doing it even more. It should be in 124 small ponds. But the title of it is 7 Ways Blank Can Win with Content Marketing, right? Now, insert in the blank whatever you want. Authors, attorneys, chiropractors, surgeons, veterinarians, dentists, coaches, Virginia coaches, North Carolina coaches, Georgia coaches, right? Like, it's been published in 24 different small ponds. It's been published in print. It's been published online. It's been published via a training option only for certain people. It's been published and actually delivered by me as a keynote. It has been resubmitted for location-based content. So 7 ways North Carolina coaches can win with content marketing. It's been repurposed. So here's the thing about the small ponds. It's a lot easier to get into. The obstacles for entry, the barrier to entry, are a lot smaller if they're there at all. And you can add immediate value by just customizing what you talk about on the big stage for a very specific niche. How do you do that? You use their examples. You use their terminology. So for instance, when I'm speaking to surgeons, veterinarians, or surgeons, dentists, doctors, chiropractors, not that chiropractors and dentists aren't doctors. I get that, right? But when I'm talking to them, I'm using the word patient, not client, because as soon as I say client, they say, not for me, not for me. The number one hurdle, by the way, for your sales, for your selling, is that you get caught in someone's not for me filter. It is incredibly easy to do. And when you're going to these small ponds, you're definitely not going to get caught in those not for me filters, right? Because you're going to speak their language. You're going to use analogies and examples that are exactly for them, and they're going to think you are their guru. So, small pond strategy. By the way, if you do any of these, I would love for you to let me know, right? And if I am hitting the nail on the head, if you've heard a strategy that you want to apply, like give me some love hearts. Let me know you're there. I'm going to drink because I'm getting dry mouth. All right. We are going to go into the blurred lines strategy. This is what will help you effectively. Thank you, Amber. Yes, repurposing sounds awesome. It's also super smart because, again, we want not just the money, right? But we want the life. And for me, if I'm asked to trade money for time, or, time for money, I'm going to pick time every time, right? I'm going to pick time every single time. And so wherever I can repurpose and get more of a use out of it, I'm absolutely going to. So thank you for that, Amber, and thank you for the love heart, Brenda. All right, the blurred line strategy. This is what will help you market effectively, literally, without doing anything different than you're already doing now. And not only that, without doing anything different than you're already doing for fun, right? Just for fun, like hobby kind of stuff. The truth is, I really don't have a hobby. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, right? Like business is my cause. It's my passion. It's my livelihood. It's what I read about. When I'm reading fiction, it's because I know it's going to make me a better storyteller. In my marketing, I love this stuff, right? It's not that I don't have hobbies because I can't afford the time to. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. All right, I have dressed for fall, and it's not working. It did not usher fall in, as it turns out. So I'm going to take off my my sweater. All right, so the blurred line strategy is really to blur the lines between marketing and selling and your living, right? It used to be that we were really encouraged to, dress up really professionally when we went out to market. It used to be that we were really encouraged to be a professional version of ourselves in the professional world, and then somebody different in the other world, in our regular world. And for me, one of the greatest compliments I get is that when people come to events like Women Who Wow Live, or they meet me in person for the first time, I'm very much the same with them personally as I am on these Facebook Lives or in my blog post, right? And so these lines are very blurred. In fact, sometimes I'll write an email that goes out to everyone, like through Aweber, and people will think that I've written directly to them. Or I'll write an email directly to them like, hey, Amber, it's Michelle. How's your mom? How's her cataract surgery, right? And then I'll go on. And people will respond and say, I'm not sure if this is like a group email or if you really want me to respond. I'm like, well, how many moms just had cataract surgery? I'm talking to you, right? Amber, not really you, but you want to blur the lines between this like professional facade and who you really are. And the strategy that I want to talk about is asking yourself, how can you make what you love to do a marketing engine for your business, right? Now, here's the thing. I love the whole personal development thing. I love journaling. I love going deeper. And so I've literally made that a marketing engine for my business, right? I've literally started to put not everything that comes out in my journaling, but I've been putting it into blog posts, and it has been just propelling my business career in ways that I never imagined. And in fact, I asked a group of women to test me on this particular thing. How can you make something you love to do and turn it into a marketing engine for your business? And the results were quite shocking, actually. So one lady said she has a totally non-hiking business, and she said hiking, right? Her business is not related to hiking in any way, shape, or form. She loves to hike. How can I make that into a marketing engine for my business? And let me tell you something. Not only do we figure that out, but I recently, this past week, saw her actually posting a live event for paying members that is a hike. She's literally paying members to have her take them on a hike, and it's totally related to her business. It is quite shocking. Totally non-related hiking industry. We figured out how to make having wine with your husband on the deck into a marketing engine for a particular business in a non-wine and non-marriage related industry. So how do you do this? You simply want to make what you do, what you love to do, more visible, and then tie it in to your business. If you want help with that, message me, m.me/women who wow. This makes marketing fun, natural, and even, dare I say it, effortless, right? When marketing becomes something that you love to do and are doing anyway, then magical things happen. Why? Because the marketing gets done consistently, and there's something magic about consistency. Moving on. The Google Map strategy. Hey, Michelle O'Neill. I'm glad to see you here. The Google Map strategy. 99% of sales efforts lack this strategy, right? Not employing this strategy creates a fully operational sales prevention department in your business. We've all been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it. But here's the deal. When you are going out to market, as all of us are doing regularly, actually, we might not be doing it very effectively, but I notice you're on social media all the time. I notice that you're showing up on social media all the time. You might not have a call to action, right? You might not be using my EPSC strategy. You might not be actually selling on social media, but you're at least showing up for a business purpose, right? And we often haven't really defined, even in our own heads, what we want people to do with the information that we're giving, right? So not only are we not directing them like, hey, next step, message me about this or whatever, right? Not only are we not doing that, but we, as the operator, we haven't defined the client journey. I did a full training, by the way, on the client journey. And so if you are a Women Who Wow member, definitely get that on the membership site. It was a long training, but it was how to define your client journey. This is the Google Map strategy. You want to make sure that first you know what steps your prospects should take to get ideal, optimal value out of whatever it is that you're doing or selling or saying, right? But secondly, you want to let them know what's expected. You want to let them know. I don't know about you guys, but when I am using Google Maps, I type in like my address or wherever I'm going, right? And I'll pick a route, and I immediately go down to that little like 3-line thing, and I want to see where are they taking me, right? Because there might be a section of town I want to go through, or there might be usually it's like a interstate that I want to avoid. I always want to know what the GPS has planned for me. I don't want to just blindly follow. And your people are going to feel more confident making sales decisions. They're going to feel more confident saying yes to you when you, first of all, your confidence when you know what you're hoping they're going to do, and then you're bold enough to say, here is what is next for you. Here's what you can expect from me. What happens is they feel confident, cared for, and secure within the boundaries of your business. Right? This is a Google Maps strategy. So be the GPS for someone else's ideal result or location. Be the GPS. Be the here's the stepping stones. Here's what you should do next. Be clear about what they should do next. First, in your own mind, define your client journey, and then start to reveal it to them so that they feel confident walking with you, right? Who walks with you? Like in New York City, my cousins, I will not do this. But my cousins will go into the town where you buy a bunch of stuff, and they'll just like trust a stranger to take them like down below under these like little nook and cranny hallways underground. And it's like, that to me is the most frightening, terrifying thing ever, right? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how long it's going to take me there. You know what? People want to know what to expect next. So the action item for this strategy is, in your sales process, first, you define your client journey. That's step one, right? And for Women Who Wow members, if you want that training, it's on the member site. If you're not a Women Who Wow member, you should be a Women Who Wow member, m.me/Women Who Wow. That's how you can message me and get the link to join. There are incredible bonuses right now, and you should totally be with us. But first, define your client journey. And two, don't be a mystery or a shock to people, right? Like, let them know what's next. Let them know what to expect so that they are, one, anticipating it, and two, they're able to really dive into your content with the security of knowing what's going to come next, right? It's like when nobody likes like a sales thing to come out of nowhere. Like, no one likes that. No one likes to be invited out to dinner only to be met with like a multi-level marketing pitch. No one likes to, it's like we like to know what to expect, right? It's why I don't do coffee dates. I don't do coffee dates at all, but it's why I don't do things without agenda. I don't want to get awkward, right? I don't want to just get on the phone with you to chat. Like, what's the agenda? I want to know what to expect. All right, moving on to our last strategy, and that is the Serena Williams strategy that will forever eliminate the 1950s scenario of waiting by the phone for him to call, right? This is something I'm totally against. I can't imagine like the old-fashioned, and I say that, and now I'm afraid I'm offending half of my members. I'm going to say it anyway. I've already got it out there. So I can't imagine those sock hops from back in the day, right? Where you have like the boys on one side and the girls on the other, and the girls just wait to be picked. Oh my God, right? Like, that to me is horrific. And yet that's what we do in business sometimes. We just show up online and like hope that we get picked, and we meet people at a conference and we are doing our best sales pitch or whatever, and we give them our card and we like hope that they're going to call. And it's like, no. Serena Williams dominates. Now, she was recently in the news for whatever, but she dominates the court. I love watching someone play a sport. I'm not a sports person, but I love watching a sport where somebody's dominating, right? I love it. It's her court. She allows other people on her court to play her. That's it. If you notice, this actually goes back to the Arnold Schwarzenegger strategy a little bit, but like when Serena Williams, like her, love her, lump her, like when she walks onto the court, it's her court and you're allowed on it, right? That's how that works with Serena. And she is doing everything she can to keep the ball in her court, right? To lead every single match. Oh yeah, I forgot Lindsay's a tennis fan. But you watch men's tennis, it seems like. I don't ever watch men's tennis. I don't watch a lot of tennis at all. But I love watching Serena because she dominates. She is like, she leads. It's even when she's not serving, she somehow like is leading. So the key action, there's two parts to this. One like very practical thing. Don't ever hand out another business card. Don't ever hand out another business card, because then it's like a passive way. You're just waiting for them to call you, right? People ask me all the time, do you have a business card? I actually don't have a business card. I have cool ones that I used to hand out. I'm going to show it to you guys real fast if I can find it. Oh, yep, here it is. So this was the last business card, and you'll see how old it was because of how young I look, right? This is my business card. On this side, this is what it said. You can see that. Oh, be Michelle Pippin. No excuses, just results, because success is more strategy than secret. I love these cards. They're thick. They have a rounded edge. They have my picture on the back. And this fool who printed them put my phone number, right? Put my phone number on the business card. And I'm like, I called him and I'm like, who puts a phone number on the business card? People are going to call me, right? This is outrageous. And he's like, everyone? Everyone puts a phone number on a business card? Well, that's why these business cards never got used, because I did not want people calling me without an appointment, right? So don't hand out a business card. Instead, say, I don't use business cards, but I'd love to take yours and I'll be sure to follow up, right? Keep the ball in your court. That is the Serena Williams strategy, right? The key action is to do everything you can to keep the ball in your court. Let people know, whether it's the media, a prospect, whatever. Don't ever say, let me know what you decide, or whatever, right? You say, I'll follow up with you, right? I'll follow up with you, especially when you're building your business, right? Now, sometimes when I am marketing something now, I will say, let me know what you decide, right? Because the truth is, I only want hell yes energy wherever I am, whether it's a live event coming up in October, or Women Who Wow membership in general, or the bonus program that you'll get by coming to Women Who Wow Live in October. I only want hell yes energy. That's all I want, right? And so sometimes I will say, hey, let me know what you decide. But when you're growing, when you really want to get the sale, don't ever do that. Keep it in your ballpark. Keep it in your court. And let them know when you're going to follow up, right? I do this with the media all the time. I will never, ever say, let me know if you want me. No, I'll call you back. I'll call you back over and over and over again. Yeah, you just did that. Well, sometimes I do it, right? But then when you see, here's the thing with sales. When you say, let me know what you decide, the ball is in their court. And that's why we feel weird following up. We feel like we're bothering them. Why? Because we said, let me know what you decide, and then we decided later that wasn't good enough. We changed the terms on them. Originally, we were going to let them know when they decided. But then we switched it up on them. It was like a switcheroo, right? It's like the Republican becoming a Democrat, or Democrat becoming a Republican, but voted in on the opposite party. It's like, whoa, right? And so that is where we start to get all like weirded out about following up, because we said, let me know what you decide. And then we waited, because that was the rule. That's the expectation we set. And then we started breaking our own rule. That's why I don't say that. So you want to, and Lindsay, I'm sure you did just fine, right? Because you're a rock star. But in the future, let them know how you're going to follow up. And sometimes I would say, hey, if I don't hear back from you by so-and-so, I'll follow up with you. So the key action really on that strategy is to do anything you can to keep the ball in your court. The keywords, I will follow up with you blank, right? So anyway, I am going to cover all of this with strategy sheets for our Women Who Wow members, and I'm going to build this out a little bit. So if you want access to this training, as well as the how-to strategies of how you can apply these things every day in your business, then you want to join Women Who Wow. It's the only way to get it. m.me/Women Who Wow. Just message me and let me know that you'd like more information about Women Who Wow. We have an incredible price and incredible bonuses going for new members, and of course our old members get all the bonuses. I would never offer a bonus to a new member that doesn't automatically go out to our existing members. Alice, I cannot wait for Nashville either. And so if you guys want to join us in Nashville, we have 2 days of breakthroughs and blueprints, right? We do not want a blueprint that's going to show us a new way to busy ourselves in our current reality, right? We want to bust through our current normal situation, and we want to create something brand new. And so I am super pumped about Nashville in October. People are calling it Nash Vegas, and it makes me a little nervous because I'm not the Vegas girl. Last time I went to Vegas, it was not pretty. I was there, I left Norfolk and I flew to Vegas, and I was back to Norfolk within 26 hours. I had one set of shoes. I did not understand how my feet would swell by just the change in the air or whatever. I'll tell you this quick story and then I'll wrap up. But I went to Vegas. I was there to speak. I spoke, I did my thing. I went back to the airport, and I made the mistake of thank you, Alice. I made the mistake of taking my shoes off in the airport before I went home. And any woman who's been to Vegas might know that when you take your shoes off and they're swelling in Vegas, the shoes don't go back on, right? The shoes just do not go back on. And so, so there I am in the airport, and I take my shoes off, and they won't go back on. And so I limp on like the little first part of my heels, trying to find like socks or like those little roll-up shoes that you can get in the airports. They did not sell them at all in the Vegas airport. I was freaking shocked and appalled. And so to get on the plane, I like limp in like on my little, the little front part of my my heels, and my feet are killing me. And of course I take my shoes off again in the airplane, and it's a long flight from Norfolk to Vegas. And so I'll never forget, I got up and I walked, I was gonna go to the bathroom, and I was groggy and I was irritable, and I hadn't slept in 24 hours. My feet were swollen and hurting, and I did it barefoot. And I know I look like such a hillbilly and totally exposed myself in that way, but I walked in. The big planes, there's a bathroom in the middle and the bathroom in the front that you can go to. And so I walked to the middle one, it's the closest one to me, and I ran into a flight attendant who said, "Ma'am, you got to put your shoes on to walk around the plane." And so I literally, I didn't have it in me to fight. I just immediately turned around on my barefooted heel, and I walked to the front bathroom and used that one. I'm like, I don't care who sees anymore. It's just I'm not gonna put those shoes back on. And so anyway, but yeah, Nashville, people call it Nash Vegas. Alice says it's not really Nash Vegas. That's perfect for me because I picked Tennessee because that is actually like Tennessee. We've got a lot of members in Tennessee, and it is just one of those places that's beautiful to visit, and it's a little bit more my speed. So really excited about being there in Nashville. And so if you want to come to that, then message me and let me know, and I will give you the member ticket price and the bonus, which is going to blow you away. But I hope you guys, whether you never see me again, whether you join Women Who Wow or not, I hope that you'll use these 10 strategies to bring common sense back to your marketing, to bring common sense back into your selling routine, to make it simple, right? To demystify what people have very deliberately, I think, complicated in an effort to have you pay them to uncomplicate it. But these are strategies that work. They're working like gangbusters for our Women Who Wow members, our women entrepreneurs. And so if I can help you with any of them, let me know. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And I will see you guys hopefully on the inside with Women Who Wow and or in Nashville, Tennessee. If you got value out of this, share this video with your friends, and we are going to take it down in about 24 hours. As soon as we get it uploaded to YouTube and our strategy sheets are ready, it'll be taken down so we can sell it and have people take part in it that way. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Thanks for being with me live. Thanks for watching the replay. Talk to you soon. Bye.